Yeah, it's Christmas time. It's the 21st of December, the shortest day in the year in Denmark. Weather is not flying conditions, low clouds, and not that great visibility here. So I decided to stay at home, enjoying the nice climate indoor, and make the video for you. Welcome to part 2 of the flight from Casarrubios in Spain to Roskilde in Denmark. We had to abort the mission on the first day because of bad weather, and we took the time after the flight to speak with some of the locals, and they showed us a different route north of Madrid, south of some mountain range, and then continued towards the east until we could go northbound towards the French border, which we decided to do on the second day. I will show you that on a map on what we flew. We had a lot of flying ahead of us. We did not expect to reach Roskilde on that day, which we didn't. It was a lot of flying, almost 1,000 nautical miles, but we managed, and this is what the video is about. It's a little bit longer than the first one. I hope that you will enjoy it. This is day 2 of our trip home. As you can see, it's quite a long distance from Spain to Denmark. And we wanted to go from Casarrubios to Limoges in France. And while we were talking to some of the locals, we got a different way to get out of the airport in Spain, a route that we had not tried. So I'd like to show you that a little bit, so you can have an idea of what you're going to see. So you can see here we have the Madrid area. And furthermore, we have Casarrubios down here. And the day before, we went to the west, all the way over here before we were going to go northbound. But we were told that there was a very narrow path just north of Madrid that we can take instead. And as long as we followed that narrow path, had Madrid on our right side, southern side, and then some mountain ranges on the left side, we should just continue eastbound until we could see clearly north with good weather, and then we would be clear of the plateau around Madrid. So we took off. As you can see here, our plan is in the magenta line, and this is our actual flight route in blue. We went east, and we did a small turn. Right here you can see that the actual airspace in the last 2 years has changed a little bit. We did not cross into this area, but we went further here, and as you can see here, it is super narrow. Trying to just get a ruler up, if I can that. Here we go. So you can see that it's about 2,800 meters, 1.6 miles, so pretty narrow. And then we continued northbound or northeastbound here. And here you can actually see that we are deviating a little bit from the plan, because at that time we actually could see north and we could see pretty good weather en route. And we made a little bit of a shortcut here. We continued towards the French border. And during this flight, we had a lot of problems with the radio. We'll get back to that in the video number 3. But to put it simply, we had configured our handheld radio incorrectly, so it would not pick up the voice from the headset that we were using. And we made some decisions here because we needed to cross the border, and we couldn't cross the border without any radio and not even the flight plan open. So when we were around this area here, we made a call that if we could not raise anyone on the radio, we would be landing, we would be squawking radio failure and land in Pamplona instead. But the good news was that Jesper was fiddling around with the radio, and suddenly he found out that the setting was incorrect, and he changed that setting, and we started to communicate to everyone. The air traffic control in Spain was so kind to us that they opened our flight plan, despite that it was actually outdated at that time, and we were allowed to cross the border anyway. So we were crossing very close to the Gulf of, the Ivory Coast here, and where the mountains are not that high, very close to San Sebastian, and we continued into French airspace without any real difficulties, and then we finished in Limoges, which is up here. So pretty straightforward. The first leg of the day was 421 nautical miles. We did that in 3 hours and 16 minutes with an average speed. We did not really push the plane very hard, so only an average speed of around 130 knots. So pretty well.
Nå, men så gør vi det et forsøg til, som man kan se. Det er regnvejr, det er skyde, men det er ikke et fuldstændig umuligt skyde. Så vi giver det et forsøg. Vi flyver nordpå, tværs igennem Madrid og prøver at undgå bjergene og vejrsystemet omkring bjergene. Og så når vi er på østsiden af Madrid, så prøver vi så at flyve nordpå, og kommer vi bare igennem Pyrenæerne, jamen så er det bare direct til Roskilde derfra. Nå, vi er ved at lave et radio-check.
Intercom med fikset, så er der batterier igen.
Det er godt.
Ja,
så er vi klar. Skal vi bare lige det ikke regner?
Jeg har en fed plan om, den gider godt at dræne batterierne, selvom den er slukket. Så.
Nå, den der intercom der? Ja, men det er jo heldigvis kun en midlertidig løsning, det her.
Ja, må ikke. Ja. Der er strøm i, og den lyser. Flux capacitor fluxing. Ja.
Jeg vil bare lige sige velkommen til Limoges. Og det er simpelthen, prøv lige at se vejr. Og vi er kommet fint frem på det hele. Lortevejr i Spanien. Bøvl med radioen undervejs, men vi er kommet fint frem, og vi er klar til at køre ud.
Vi har fået det løst.
Vi har fået det løst.
Ja. All right. The next flight of the day was from Limoges in France to Münster, Osnabrück in Germany. As you can see, it got us much closer to Denmark, but we were flying in the month of February, where the daylight was limited. So we made a call at that time that we would not proceed from Osnabrück to Denmark for the final stage, although the weather was absolutely beautiful. So we did the second flight. As we could not get any kind of food in Limoges, it was super disappointing and actually devastating. We left Spain without any food. We had a bottle of water with us, and we had hoped for some nice coffee and some croissants in France. But due to the COVID restrictions, the entire airport was basically closed. And we had just €1, a coin in our pocket, and we bought a cup of coffee in a machine, and that was what we got. Second leg of the day, 487 nautical miles. We did that in 3 hours and 48 minutes, which totaled about 900 miles, 900 nautical miles in an entire day. That is around 1,700 kilometers. Total flight time was 7 hours and 4 minutes, which gave us around, let's say, 240 kilometers per hour in average. We left Limoges here, and then we just continued northeastbound through some. Looks pretty busy, but there was actually not a lot of flying here. We were quite alone. We came close to Luxembourg, which you have here. The white space here, and into the German airspace, and we moved further on into the Cologne area and up towards Osnabrück. We had a lot of fun in this airspace here because it is pretty restricted, but Jesper managed to get us through this airspace, flying some IFR altitudes, still remaining VMC. But we were kind of treated like an IFR traffic, which was super fun for him. I didn't hear it because, as you know, our intercom did not work, and he was only on the radio, and he could only hear what was going on. So I was basically flying and doing nothing else but just flying the plane, and he did all the radio traffic, radio communication here. And we went in for a landing in Münster Osnabrück airfield or airport. Where we touched down, and we parked the plane, got a lot of great help for getting to the nearest hotel, and there we finally got some food, which was well deserved after a long day of flying.
Charlie and please say. Jeg tror, det er her. Nu skal vi stoppe.
Siger du?
Det er her, vi skal stoppe.
Nå, nej, han viser mig frem.
Nå.
Der blev sgu arbejdet lidt.
Det skal jeg love for.
Hui, ja.
Mand.
Og det var sgu sjovt, det der igennem med køllen.
Jamen, det
Fordi
oplevede
lige
jeg jo
pludselig
ikke.
nej, men lige pludselig gik der IFR i det, og der var virkelig meget. Der var Ryanair, der var FedEx, og der var hele svineriet, og det var hele tiden derudad. Og de begynder jo, den måde, de kommer ind på frekvensen på,
Ja.
man kalder jo ikke bare op med sit kaldesignal, og så venter på et svar. Du kalder op med dit kaldesignal, og så kommer du bare dyk, hvad det er, du vil, ikke?
Ja.
Uden
Fik
at
du lov
vente.
til at lave det?
Og det gjorde jeg jo så også, ikke? Og så sagde han så det, but remember, you're still VMC's, han sagde. Eller han sagde, remember to maintain VMC, ikke?
Nå, jeg snipper det ud.
Yep.
Jeg skal slukke min ben.
Nå.
Så tror jeg, jeg dør.
Det skal jeg ikke.
Jeg tror så bare, vi skal sige,